Radiant team ban.
Beastmaster banned from Beast Coast. More superior stun against Juggernaut. Yeah, going back to the Juggernaut pick, speaking of that, I mean, into a Batrider. Now, I know obviously Batrider, obviously not good against a spin, but does have the lasso through said spin if needed, so.
Yeah, the thing is, you know, I was listing the carries who can lane against the Batrider, and it's just they don't want this Batrider to dominate the lane, really. And I think that's why you go for the Juggernaut. But you're totally right. It does lessen the split push that you're able to get off because you're not going to be able to just safely get out of there. And I also really like this Kunkka ban because he's great versus the anti-mage. You know, you're right, Beast Coast. They just want as much catch as possible for this elusive hero, and getting rid of the Kunkka means they're not going to have that.
Mm-hmm. So now J.Storm going to tell us if this is going to be maybe even a mid Leshrac or more of a support Leshrac instead or something else even. So I guess even the off lane is a possibility here. But who's Brown going to play?
Yeah, there's a lot of time remaining, and so what are they really lacking for? You know, you're playing an anti-mage. It's basically a 4 protect 1 strategy, isn't it? And so you want someone who's able to create havoc with the rest of this team. Maybe someone who's able to do... they're lacking physical damage other than the AM. You have more than enough magical with the Leshrac, as well as the Batrider. So you're looking for physical damage mid, maybe, who's... like maybe a sniper? Is that crazy? There are a few heroes they could pick.
Yeah, Sniper's always a little dangerous... with still a response to come, I suppose. I'm trying to think back yesterday with the complexity. Was that a final pick Sniper, or did they pick it before they even knew? I actually think they picked it not knowing what the matchup was. Now that I think about it, but either way.
Yeah. So I'm looking at my list, and I think it could be a Razor or no, a Puck actually. So I think, you know, just the silence, very solid against the Juggernaut, as well as that coil versus the Darkseer is really nice. And I think we can also expect to see him get an Aghanim, so even more lockdown against that spinning Juggernaut. So and that's a hero who's able to create this early havoc, so we'll be able to create the space for the anti-mage to continue his farm.
Yeah, and still, even with that Puck, I mean, Beast Coast really can't be too sure on who they're going to face off against the mid matchup, because it could be Leshrac, it could be Puck, hell, it could be Batrider, if it makes sense for the matchup. So they have to be a little careful here in terms of just focusing on one hero that whoever Ryoya is going to be playing against, and go one that instead that will just overall be decent, I suppose. Maybe something like a DK that could be okay, but...
Yeah, we did see the Ryoya DK yesterday. That gives them even more lockdown for the anti-mage. We said that might be really nice. He won't, you know, lose to a Puck or a Leshrac because he has that innate sustain of the Dragon's Blood. So I think that's a fairly decent hero for him to think about going. Puck's a pretty solid laner, so I don't think you defeat a Puck anyway, but you want to pick someone who Ryoya's able to do decent on.
I still like Viper, man. Viper just dropped off completely, I know, but I still think Viper is actually not half bad here.
Yeah, you know a hero we haven't seen a lot of in these games is the Ember Spirit. I'm curious why we haven't seen him.
Choose your hero.
I know he's been banned a couple times, but Lina is going to be the pick for Beast Coast, so really is one of those. Yeah, no matter who they put up against Lina, she should be more than fine. So.
Yeah, but Lina is, really, really quite squishy. So, if Resolution, if he gets up to the same kind of game he had last game, Ryoya might be food. But it does provide something Beast Coast were lacking, and that's burst damage, So even if they were able to get a glimpse or a good stun, they now have the follow-up of Ryoya, and they will be able to burst someone down. So I think the idea is, hopefully you're able to get a little bit of control on Mu, and then he's there 1 second, and not there the next.
There are those positives, but there is also the negative. You just picked up a pretty big mana bomb into an anti-mage, as well as a anti-mage with his passive is pretty good against Lina as well. So that's where I'm having a little bit of a moment of hesitation in terms of is this really the very strong final pick? And again, I don't know if there necessarily was, to be fair, but that would be my one question mark about Lina. But overall, could potentially do well. And yeah, the burst damage definitely could be nice. I'm also noticing IX Mike is on Sven. And TMT will be playing the Disruptor instead, so they're going to prioritize farm on Disruptor, maybe even try to get an Ags in this game, which is a very good Ags, if you can manage to get it on Disruptor.
Yeah, it's, I mean, you know, you'll stop Resolution using his BKB if you're able to get a great Static Storm. I assume Bryle's also going to get a Yules that will help mitigate some damage if he's caught out. This is the mid Leshrac, and I think both him and Brioya, it is a bit of a farm fest in the mid lane. I don't think either one should kill the other unless they get either a lucky rune or really mess up.
There we go. Introductions are upon us. Fears on the Batrider. And of course that means Moo playing the puck. 19 commends in 29 matches. Good job, Brax.
Yeah, actually, talking about the Fear Batrider, what I would really like to see is I'd like to see the Batrider just avoid the lane the Juggernaut's in. So I think they might want to send the Batrider to the safe lane with the Anti-Mage and the Abaddon to the top lane, just because they really do not want this Bat up against the Juggernaut, because it kind of negates why you pick a Batrider in the 4 position.
Eternal Envy on the Juggernaut. Playing a different pace of a hero this time around. We saw him try the 2 draw games yesterday, and then the Lycan in game 1, and obviously very objective pace, very push-heavy heroes. Juggernaut, more of that standard, just solid, I can kind of do everything hero, as we're getting at last game, so see what he's able to do this time around, try to prioritize farm. Also, the question off the bat, too, is this going to be a Battle Fury game for Juggernaut, try to help contest with that Anti-Mage, or would you see him maybe instead go like a Drums S&Y style build, try to have that early game aggression?
I mean, you're totally right. It is the 2 camps. It's, can we come online before the Anti-Mage, or do we have to try and scale against the Anti-Mage? And I think Eternal Envy, he's the kind of guy who is probably going to build a Battle Fury. I think that's what they're going to go do. But, you know, both camps are perfectly okay. He might get that Drums, the Manta into the Maelstrom. It's also another perfectly viable build, and it will allow him to fight with his team a lot earlier. So, you know, maybe claim objectives and shut down the space that Resolution's able to farm with that Anti-Mage. So, you know what, actually, no Battle Fury. I'm going to go 50-50 and go for the no Battle Fury build.
All right.
But I could always be wrong. Eternal Envy's greedy.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, you never really know with him as well. So we'll see what he goes for. Serious problem. I obviously there's been a theme with J.Storm specifically. For some reason, they all DC, or a majority of them DC at the very beginning of the game. They start reconnecting. So not sure what that's about. It's a little curious, but either way, they're back in, and it looks like we should be good to go for game 2. J.Storm attempting to move on and face Complexity again, a rematch of what would be from yesterday. And what was a really good series. It was a 3-game series. Complexity ultimately winning it 2-1. J.Storm won the first game, but then Complexity came back and looked very good in 2 and 3. So I'm sure it's going to be a tough challenge no matter who Complexity faces, but should be a fun finish. And always good knowing that by the end of today, we're going to know which team advances onto the minor.
Yeah, and on the back of that series yesterday, I'm very curious if J.Storm do make it, do beat Ghost in this game or either next, whether they let through that Ursa once again. But in this bottom lane, they have sent the Batrider to the bottom lane, and this is what I said they wanted to do. So they are trying to avoid the Juggernaut, but it looks like Beast Coast already have this figured out.
Yeah, trying to, the key point right there, because Beast Coast, Juggernaut has already gone down here, at least for now. They're roaming through the Radiant jungle. We've also seen them place these deep wards. In fact, there we go. Mike will place one very deep. The idea that if they expect some jungling early on, there was the one game yesterday against the Alchemist. That's why we were saying they did that. They don't really have a, this mid Leshrac isn't necessarily, I guess it's a hero that could definitely go to the jungle and take some camps and some stacks even. So perhaps the same idea there. That's why they got that very deep ward on the Radiant side.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Once Bryle, he gets a few levels, he'll get to the point where, you spam out the mid lane, then you go to the jungle just to optimize as much farm as possible. So they just want the vision over that, see if stacks are being created, and if he does eventually go to farm here, hopefully try and get off a gank.
Fear just hugging the trees. Playing it very safe as J.Storm still waiting to see what the lanes are going to be. We'll realize eventually that it is going to be the Juggernaut in the aggressive lane. Puck making his way down here. So yeah, Batrider will notice, and perhaps we're going to see some TPs coming out. If now for anything, he's going to soak up some experience. As the top lane, though, Abaddon let the Mist Coil spam begin. That's all he's going to do up here against Darkseer. Literally every cooldown, just spam that Q. It's like 4.5 second cooldown. That's probably one of the things about that ability that's going to get changed, in my opinion. It just seems like he could just do it so often.
Yeah, one of the things I do have to say is that the fact that you have this Darkseer in the safe lane from the side of Beast Coast, it's not that advantageous for you, because usually on a Darkseer, you know, you want to be manipulating these creep waves, going for those pulls, pulling it into the side camp. But because you're here in the safe lane, you actually have to lane as a regular hero, and that's not what you want to be doing as a Darkseer.
Resolution. As the creep wave pushed up. Going to focus on those last hits, though. Doing a darn good job out of it. There's another hit. There you go. He's 7-3 CS now. So off to a very, very good start, of course. And speaking of Battle Fury, of course, Anti-Mage is a hero that stood the test of time. Really, no matter how the patch is looking, it's just Battle Fury always considered pretty good on that hero. So safely assume that's going to be coming for Anti-Mage.
Yeah, there was like 1 or 2 patches where people were trying out, you know, weird things like the what was it, the Vanguard first. And going more of a battle anti-mage, but you know, Tide interested just how quickly his it's not exponential growth, it's a different kind of growth. I remember seeing a graph on Twitter from someone talking about the speed he farms with Battle Fury. Either way, it's just such a great farm acceleration. I don't think anyone in the game except for an Alchemist is able to keep up with a Battle Fury anti-mage.
Batrider is going toe-to-toe with Sven over here. Sven not going to be able to chase too long, though, as those sticky napalms start adding up and has to run the other direction. But Juggernaut, he's already 7-3 CS, so safe to say Eternal Envy is having a pretty good start and probably the best start he's had in between these 2 series. We saw yesterday and today. It's just usually been very difficult lanes for him. So this time around, managing pretty good, at least so far. But the lanes seem like they've gone to where we could expect them to be now for a little bit.
Yeah, we're not going to see any more crazy rotations. It looks like they are okay with Fade Bottom because obviously, you know, you're not going to be able to kill Eternal Envy because he does have that spin, but, you know, you might be able to pressure out some supports. And he's going to check these runes and see a regen rune. Not what he's looking for, but he's definitely going to make sure X-Mike does
Regeneration! X-Mike pissed off, just throws out the stun. Going to stop the regen as soon as possible. But just again, the mind games continue between the supports. Eternal Envy's even off to the jungle, going to fight some neutrals. As Moo will continue to farm in the lane, the double Fairy Fire on Puck. We've seen the Veil of Discord coming out a couple of times. We'll see if that's what Moo wants here on his Puck.
Yeah, I mean, his aim is to be one of the space creators for the anti-mage, and you know, there are 2 ways to do that: either go for the blink dagger and get the kills, or get the veil and be able to split push the waves. But in this mid lane, Mike is here. He does have the stun, but they have a ward here. So, but he cuts his way through the trees. That's great play there.
Is it going to be enough though? Bryle, is he too tanky? Fairy Fire. He's got some bottle charges as well. Not enough to stay alive. The Mike gets credit for the kill, and he'll TP out before Batrider can do nearly enough damage. So I was just about to address how this Dire team is kind of just giving up on this bottom lane all of a sudden. They rotate Juggernaut top, and Sven was obviously rotating towards the mid lane. But hey, that pays off at least for there. Nice first blood for Beast Coast, but still there is nobody else at the bottom lane for Beast Coast. So right now Moo's just getting an absolute free farm himself. A top lane, Resolution. He's able to dive and get the kill and Disruptor. That's not good news for Beast Coast.
Yeah, this anti-mage is having an absolutely perfect time, you know, massively ahead in the CS, and it's because the Darkseer usually isn't able to contest an anti-mage because he has that counterspell as well as he's a natural Ring of Health builder, and so they're sending Brax to where he's going to thrive in the bottom lane, where he's able to do these creep lane manipulations. But I do want to focus on this kill on the mid lane because we saw the ward, but Mike realizing they had a ward here, cutting his way through the trees, and that's what results in the kill on Bryle. It's really, really great 5-position play there that I think should be highlighted.
A good play on his part to set out the first blood, but also great play from Beast Coast they get all 4 bounty runes. And speaking of Mike, he stole the one on the top side that allows him to ultimately get all 4 of the bounty runes. So very good positioning and timing. No fights necessarily breaking out. Almost feels like J.Storm kind of forgot or just necessarily wasn't paying 100% to that timing. And Beast Coast takes full advantage, so good for them. You do look at Resolution, though, 31-17 now. Has that hero kill that he's working with, so yeah, it's a very, very safe farm for him. And especially now with the Juggernaut up here. Where the hell is Juggernaut? Oh, he's going mid. With a smoke? What? Okay, interesting. Well, he's going to be exposed here. The courier flies on by. I don't know if he's going to eventually go all the way bottom or he's going to wrap around back mid. Mike comes in from the left. Bryle, he runs to the left. LSA barely connects. He does have a bat in support. The Laguna Blade helps burst him down, and the spin from Juggernaut will help finish the job too. So I guess the good old Juggernaut gank mid somewhat works out there.
I mean, you joke about it, and you know we're very right to. You'd never expect the level 4 safe lane Juggernaut to rotate to the mid lane. But it's actually, now that I think about it, a page out of complexity books. This is exactly what we saw from the Miracle Ursa, and is what resulted in their aggression, because realizing, you know, if you bring these heroes, you're able to kill the mid laner again and again and again. And I'm curious if Bryle's in real trouble here.
Well, Bryle holding his ground. I thought he had a kill on Brax. They do get the kill, but now with the spin again from Eternal Envy, Mike helping to chase him down. They do take out Leshrac, so the 1-for-1 trade. Let's say that's favoring Beast Coast. In fact, Darkseer gets credit for the kill thanks to the Iron Shell, despite dying initially. And Eternal Envy goes into the jungle, so yeah, he's making good use of time. He's helped set up a couple of kills now, and his net worth is he's 4th right now in overall net worth, so not too shabby. Just kind of giving up on the top lane is Disruptor. I guess that means Disruptor is getting solo experience, however. But they are addressing this Leshrac, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, they've massively set down this Leshrac, you know, forced him out of lane twice. That second kill was right after he used his TP, so he's not able to get here. And they're just staying around this area, taking this early tier 1 tower. And the whole point of that is because once you take this tier 1 tower, you're shutting out this entire jungle, so the anti-mage isn't going to be able to farm it. And they're making space for TMT, so, you know, you get a quick level 6, and then you might be able to get a kill with that Static Storm. But I think once they do get level 6 on TMT, they have to try and kill Resolution. They cannot let him have as good a game as he had last game, because an anti-mage gets even scarier, even faster than a Juggernaut.
Yeah, that's I guess my concern for Beast Coast right now is they are going to kill a bat in here. So again, they're really hugging this middle lane. Dream Coil used though, as Ryoyo's caught in place by that. Moo going for the turn kill. Leshrac shows up as well, and talk about a good revenge kill. Brown nearly 300 gold for that one, as he takes her out. Bottle rune, or gets the bottle of the Invis rune as well on top of that, so let's see if he can make use of it. But to my point, I mean, obviously that's a good trade for J.Storm right there. We just mentioned last game they didn't really address Resolution at all. They're doing the same thing here on Anti-Mage even. So it's hard to sit here and say, okay, yeah, Beast Coast is going to be fine, knowing that Anti-Mage is going to have a very fast Battle Fury and start accelerating like crazy. They do kill Batrider though. They are making plays elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, this is the point. I think they realize that at this stage, they don't quite have enough damage or enough chain lockdown to kill Resolution, so they're not even wasting their time going for this kill. But, you know, they're taking the kills they can get, and I really would expect to see them leverage aggression at Resolution once they hit level 6 on this Disruptor, who I think might be in trouble.
No, it's just out of range of the Split Earth from Bryle, so no point to run after him further. It's space created there from TMT. Thankfully, he has his boots to allow him to help get away. Middle lane again. The Stormhammer is going to travel some distance, but Fear's a bit too far away. He'll be good to go. They're porting into the jungle down here. Brax, he's able to surge away, though.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
He's got that move speed, so he's good to go. Juggernaut's also pretty deep still at the tier 2 tower mid. Is now making his way top lane, it looks like. So he'll be good to go. But yeah, Resolution, he's ported to the bottom lane now, and he's going to start farming the safe lane down here. As Bryle helps to push the top tier 1 tower. So good movement from J.Storm.
Yeah, it's Eternal Envy, by the way, with his laning phase, you know, kind of interesting going from lane to lane. He is building his shrubs. We see another fight around these bounty runes top, though.
Yeah, 10-minute bounty runes. Last time at the 5-minute, didn't really see much fighting, but this is going to be a big splitter-a-thon too. March is here as well, and so is Fear. Firefly on top of IX Mike. He eventually is going to take down, as my guess. He does get the Storm Hammer off, but they pick off Ryoya off to the left as Dreamcoil used for that one. Well worth it, and sure enough, Fear does auto-attack to finish off Sven. So Ryle will clean up at the top creep wave. Good fight at the bounty runes for J.Storm.
I mean, it was a great bait. You know, they left that bounty rune a little bit too long, having the Invis rune on Brial and that amazing split earth. There wasn't anything Beast Coast could do. So the side of J.Storm, they come out very on top there. But this Disruptor, he's getting close to his level 6. He should have the book for himself soon, and he's just had it. So he now has that Static Storm. So this is the time that Beast Coast needs to be killing this Anti-Mage.
Can they make it happen? Static Storm, do they have Vacuum? No, he doesn't have Vacuum yet. I mean, that's not surprising, but yeah, it just doesn't seem like they're going to have enough lockdown there. Okay, well, maybe. The counterspell is not going to save him here, of course. At least from the lockdown of the Static Storm. He can now run out there with the Kinetic Field to bat in close enough for a Mist Coil, and Resolution is able to TP away. I mean, they had to go very deep for that. The follow-up stun of a Sven was not there. So they had the right idea, but they only had half the pieces, unfortunately, to make that kill. Drain Coil hitting 2.
Yeah, I'm a bit curious about that aggression there, because as you say, they didn't have their follow-up damage. They didn't have the Sven while they are killing off March's Abdomen. Oh, nice deny on him.
Yeah.
So I think their idea was they just wanted to force Resolution to back away. They didn't think they could kill him even if they had the follow-up damage, but they knew they could get the objective if they forced him to back away. But, you know, you're forgetting about Brial. You know, with 3 points in the Diabolic Edict, you leave this Leshrac alone. Even though you killed him a bunch of times in the lanes, he's still second in the entire net worth ahead of this Lina. And you're allowing him to recover and take your own towers.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy to me. They really were making a point to address him in that mid lane, yet here we are 5 minutes later, and he's second in net worth only to his teammate, non-Battle Fury Anti-Mage, who, by the way, almost has it. He just needs the Demon Edge, and he has nearly 700 gold saved up. So not to be negative about Beast Coast, but it seems like it's going to be quite an uphill battle right now. You have Juggernaut. He's recovering and farming the jungle, and it looks like he is going to go the Drums choice, by the way. Yep, but sure enough, the recipe and everything's on the Courier, so that's flying out. With Drums, much more of an aggressive style with the way they've been playing. That makes sense. But Batrider also has Drums himself. He might be caught, though. Stormhammer into the combo of the Glimpse. Coil, though, from Puck hits all 3 in Fear. Can he fly away? No, he cannot. Close call. Thanks, Mike, though. Credit for that last hit. Make the kill happen, at least.
Yeah, I was about to say someone who we haven't really talked about who's done very well here out of this ending phase is this Moo Puck, as they do find a Sven being very aggressive here in the top lane. Nice save there by the kinetic field, meaning they can't pursue him. But yeah, Moo's rotations, you know, this TP into the mid lane as well as getting involved in this this fight top near the bounty rune. Moo has been doing a lot of work on this Puck, and he's very close to his Blink Dagger, in which case we might see him even set up more spectacular Dream Coils.
They're wrapping around top lane. They need Disruptor, though. Where is he? He is coming. Static Storm ready. Oh, good counterspell. Reflects the net, and he just blinks away. So yeah, if that net hits, maybe. TMT was getting there. But Resolution, just too good of a player. He sees it coming, able to react. And that's the thing with those travel stuns, and that's similar to that, of course, where if he has any time to react, you just pop that counterspell, and you're good to go.
Yeah, the Sven stun is like that as well. Unlucky there for Fear. He got stomped by the Centaur Creep, and that's just allowing Brax to be able to search himself away. Moo doesn't quite have the Blink Dagger yet, so I don't think he's going to be able to get this catch.
No, he's fine. Dreamcoil's ready, but yeah, could not catch up with the Darkseer, who has his helm of the Dominator, and is going to fall back before getting caught out there. Abaddon, he's pretty naked right now. He's got a stick on him. At least he's level 6, but doesn't even have boots yet, so March, once again, really sacrificing as that support. Sven's he has 3 Observer Wards on it. I feel like he's had several Observer Wards he's been sitting on. Hasn't been able to get the best vision down. Yeah, he has one up here, the top, but that's the only one down currently.
Is under attack.
I mean, the whole point of the vision here for Beast Coast is it should be to find where Resolution's farming once he leaves the lanes. But Resolution, he's, you know, already got the 4 points in the blink, and it seems like it's going to be very tough to kill Resolution. He's not even afraid of, you know, just man fighting your Darkseer.
Oh, he puts the wall down, but it doesn't even hit him. He gets glimpsed back into it, though. This is pretty big counter spell. Doesn't really do too much right there. He's trapped in the kinetic field, but no static storm. Was not followed up with that, and the team support more than enough nearby. Bryle, the Photic Shield, he's able to walk away, having to kill off the illusions, get some bounty out of it. All 5 heroes are up here for J.Storm right now. I don't want to get to the bottom lane, though. Moo comes down. He's got a blink as well as a drain coil. In fact, that's a Yule's lift up on a Batrider over here. Can Moo get here in time? Oh, the Omni Slash, but he takes the Omni Slash hit. Spear's going to live because of that. And now Eternal Envy, he has to TP out. Will it be in time? Lina is caught. Nice job with the phase shift to avoid the LSA stun from Moo. Ryoya TP play. The lasso connects at the last second, and she falls. That was well played in instances by both sides there. But J.Storm does have the better of it. Now Resolution, he's caught though. Counter spell. He blinks before the static storm, glimpse back into it. So he's going to get caught in it eventually, but it took too long for the glimpse, or did it? They hit the stun, and they do make the kill happen. So they finally get Anti-Mage. That's good news for Beast Coast, at least.
Yeah, it's, I mean, trading Ryoya is never great, but the Resolution, you're getting the prize kill. That's exactly the kill you need to be getting. And he has completed the Battle Fury, so didn't lose that too much gold. But anytime you can kill Resolution, you're going to be able to take it. And I want to just talk about what Team City is doing here, as he might be dying.
Yeah, he's definitely dying. Eternal Envy, is he dying is not the question. I think the answer is a very astounding yes. Battle Fury, or excuse me, the Battle Cry even will not save him right there from my ex-Mike. So good job collapsing from J.Storm, but yeah, back to your point.
Yeah, the thinking of what TMT is doing, he's waiting for AM to use his blink before he uses the glimpse. So they just have, they're just trying to time it so they have as long as possible where that anti-mage isn't blinking away. That's why he doesn't instantly static storm, because, you know, he wants the AM to blink away, glimpse him back, then you have that little few seconds, then you're into the static storm. He's just trying to maximize the amount of disable they have, and that's why they were able to get that kill in the end in the top lane.
We got the kill, and that's what matters. Although Leshrac now, he's overtaken actually as the top farm in the game, and BKB is queued up. He's working towards it. As at least the Ogre-Axe already. And once he has the BKB, he'll feel very good. We mentioned Disruptor with that static storm and everything, something that Leshrac's not a huge fan of, but of course BKB changes that idea. But I gotta say too, Beast Coast has continued to take over the Radiant jungle. It seems like they've been over here in the Radiant jungle down at the bottom more than the Radiant actually has this game. So they have controlled it very well.
Yeah, they've done a very good job in this area. Even J.Storm, you know, they try to take it back over with these two wards on the high ground, but it's not quite working. But Resolution, you know, he's correctly identified this is what Beast Coast are doing, and that's why we've seen him in this top lane, in this jungle, instead of his own jungle, because he knows that's where Beast Coast wants to be playing, so he doesn't want to play there at all.
Double damage rune. Lina's going to go pick it up.
Bottom tower is under attack.
There you go. We'll see if they can make a play with it. It has that Yules as mentioned. And Eternal Envy does get the bottom tier 2 tower. While distractions are taking place. He's going to spin on the bottom lane. No one's coming though, so doesn't need to worry about TPing out necessarily.
Radiant's bottom tower
he has plenty of support in the area, but J.Storm not too interested just yet in terms of going down there to defend. As Leshrac continues to push in top. And he got Puck and Batrider moving around together. Looking for an opportunity, of course, with the lasso. Although it doesn't have a blink in on Batrider, but still sitting with those drums. They do catch TMT. The glimpse is not enough to save him. Here comes Eternal Envy. He's got an Omni Slash. Puck?
I mean,
no, not really.
We'll watch Ryoya as he gets into a lot of trouble. Even Resolution coming to this fight. You said the glimpse wasn't enough to save TMT. He was the one with the aggression. He glimpsed back Bryle into himself, thinking the rest of his team were there in time, but they just didn't expect the rest of the reinforcements coming out from J.Storm, and that's what resulted in these 2 kills.
Okay, yeah, I heard it going off. I just assumed it was a defensive one, but that makes more sense. Yeah, I did not realize the numbers there for J.Storm. So, Puck, good job. Of course, avoiding with the phase shift. I mentioned Sizzle the turn, and we mentioned the Villa Discord possibility earlier. I mean, it enhances a lot of damage this game, really, between Batrider, between Leshrac, and even Anti-Mage with that Mana Void. So there's plenty of enhancement to take advantage of, and also just the nice regen it provides. Makes sense item on Puck to go with the Blink Dagger.
A gift from the
As
Tempest
20-minute
of
bounty runes will spawn, and we're going to see a 2-for-2 split as a result.
a tithe to the impurities.
Yeah, it's, I really am worried at this point in the game for Beast Coast. I know it's only a 5k advantage for the side of J.Storm, but it does feel like Beast Coast, they're trying their hardest to get these pickoffs that they were able to get in the laning phase, but, you know, only fighting the Resolution Anti-Mage once, I don't think it's enough to shut down his farm at all.
Yeah, the glimpse on somebody. That looks like a Batten, but he's fine. Doesn't really go too far. Pipe finished on Darkseer. Speaking of a lot of magic damage here from the Radiant side, so makes sense as to why Brax would prioritize that item after the Helm of the Dominator. Another glimpse. Again, a Batten's caught. Don't want to waste a Static Storm for this, especially when he has borrowed time, and it's kind of an awkward target to consistently go after. They're going to still chase. He's got another Aphotic Shield. I'm surprised there's no TP supports coming in after all of this. He tries to deny himself, he can't. So they do eventually get the kill at least. Just took a while.
I mean, but this is another one of the strengths of the 5 position Abaddon. I mean, because he has this spell that makes him literally immortal for a little while. You send him into these dangerous situations where you expect the side of Beast Coast to be, and that just buys you space for the entire rest of your team to farm the map with impunity. And, you know, even though he went down, you saw J.Storm tick up another K gold lead in advantage, and that's just because it enables the rest of the team to farm, because he's bought all this time and found the rest of the side of Beast Coast.
Anti-Mage ports in and blinks south, though, so Eternal Envy will just finish off this camp. And more than likely fall back. Leshrac, he's got a BKB now, full 10 seconds. Who do they catch over here? That's Darkseer, Drinkwell. Of course, locking him in place. Static Storm goes down, but she blinked away. Puck be able to blink away in time, but Leshrac cannot do the same. He couldn't BKB. He did not do it beforehand. He gets caught by the stomp, and he ends up falling as a result. So a misplay there for sure from Ryle, underestimating how much lockdown they had initially. That's a streak stopper too.
That was honestly amazing. The vacuum into war stuff, as well as the Stormhammer. Like, he did not expect to take that much damage. I mean, the Iron Shell damage, not realizing it's there, is deceptive. And with this double damage onto Eternal Envy, it looks like they might be able to get an objective off that one kill.
20 seconds. He's going to be dead for now. Again, he doesn't have a buyback, but when he is up, he will still have the BKB. As a Hero Lasso, that's going to catch, it looks like, Disruptor in the midst of it. Roshan's getting low. TMT eventually will fall. Margie's going to charge in. He does not have her own time, actually. Buyback happening from Disruptor. They get the kill, and Marge picks up the Aegis on a Batten. He gets a steal. He dies shortly after, but this is big time for J.Storm now to try to fight in a Beast Coast. Sven, he got picked off. Moo wants some more. Phase shift avoiding. He jumps over the Dream Coil. The Omni Slash ends up cutting down at Batten, so he's out for 30 seconds. Now can they catch Puck? No, again with the phase shift as Lucrative Blade in the face of Fear, but Bryle right on top of them. A big 3-man splitters to Diabolic Edict, and the Pulse Nova just taking them down with a BKB. Really does become an unstoppable target. Gets a double kill when it's all said and done. So Beast Coast kept fighting. They get the Aegis stolen from them, though. They lose the fight, and oh, by the way, Anti-Mage continues to farm elsewhere.
Yeah, Resolution didn't come to that fight at all. And as you know, I praised Beast Coast going into the Roche Pit, finding that double damage, but they just didn't have that quite enough damage. March walking in, able to snatch that Aegis, sets back Beast Coast massively. And you know, when they were able to kill off one person of Beast Coast, the side of J.Storm, they just continue to chase to them. And we do finally see this first uses of the BKB by Bryle. And he almost got the full triple kill himself, but that triple split Earth was incredible, just sitting on top of the entire side of Beast Coast, dealing out damage to them.
How about Puck with a Dagon as well? He's going to use it again right here. It's not enough for the kill, but still does plenty of damage to IX Mike. I guess a pipe is to thank for that, as far as why he's able to live. As Darkseer happen to be nearby, but yeah, very aggressive build from Moo, who's now even third in net worth behind his own 2 teammates. So top 3 all belonging to J.Storm, and even potentially going to get better here. Vacuum wall combo, really in response to the lasso. So Juggernaut's going to be fine as he spins away. IX Mike pops a war cry and runs though. Brax is too far in. He does not have a pipe cooldown. He's out. Brawl with the killing spree now. IX Mike, he's just slowed enough. The Lightning Storm helping with that. Killing spree, and guess who shows up? It's Resolution. He's now ready to fight.
I mean, Resolution's not here to fight. He's here to farm and push. It's just a coincidence that there used to be a few heroes of Beast Coast in that lane. But luckily, the side of J.Storm, you know, the rest of his team, they've made space by getting rid of those pesky Beast Coast members. So Resolution's able to pressure these towers and just finding more and more people.
Well, I was right there that time. The BKB activated as a static storm was coming out, and so Bra just runs right through it. Ends up killing Lena. They do lose Batrider. But again, the trades just seem slightly better for J.Storm whenever they do happen. And Brian will now farm more at the bottom as he's got his bots now finished. The Boots of Travel on top of everything as well. BKB's almost tier 2 for Resolution, and we've already stressed how big that is on Leshrac. Imagine it on the Anti-Mage, who, there you go right there. He's able to avoid the Stormhammer pretty easily. Continues farming.
Yeah, I mean, if he wanted, he could have tanked the Stormhammer with the counterspell. Like, he could have been more annoying, but there's honestly no way they're going to kill Resolution, and especially with his BKB that's pretty damn impending. And we're starting to see kind of the real issues here. J.Storm, they just have so much damage. They have layers on layers of it, and they have all the physical damage that will be coming from the AM pretty damn soon.
Dire's bottom tower is
And
under
Leshrac
attack.
actually getting a Blink Dagger. Very interesting there. Only just going to allow him to get in there, though. Yule's up. Land a split Earth. He joins the team as he Boots of Travels in, and they already caught Darkseer with the lasso. Free kill on a Brax, but J.Storm on the pain train. Really no sign of it stopping right now. In fact, it might continue in the mid lane. Disruptor. Looks like he's going to be caught. Kinetic Field. Is it enough to save? Leshrac. God, he's so
Radiant's
fast
middle tower is under attack.
on that disco pony.
He doesn't have the Blink Dagger. I think March might be the one to secure this. No, with the end of the Blink Dagger there. they were all competing who could get that kill over on the Disruptor.
Of course, yeah.
So, okay, so we're sounding very negative about the side of Beast Coast, and I do think for good reason this anti-mage is fairly unchecked. But let's stop for a while and think about what can Beast Coast do to be able to get in this game. And nice little people like that might be the idea. You know, they just have to find more and more of them. J.Storm, catch them out while they're alone, and maybe a Tunnel Envy. He has the full Manta style. I think he might be saving up for an Eye of Skadi. And maybe once a Tunnel Envy, you know, if he gets a Basher, he can get a good Omni Sash, be able to control the anti-mage in these fights. Oh, but they lose Ryoya.
Yeah, I understand the idea of trying to be positive, but man, I honestly think that it's not 100% too late, but the BKB timing is what's really screwing them now. Like, it's one thing to, you know, have your decent core, in the case of Juggernaut or whatever, farming very well, and they happen to get BKBs, but they weren't doing well. The lockdown early on, the addressing Leshrac at the sacrifice of letting Anti-Mage farm, that didn't even play out because Leshrac still then proceeded to be second, if not even top in farm for a lot of the earlier games. So we're now 28 minutes in. I just think it's a lot of they got to travel back in time and do things a little bit differently because there's not a lot of positive signs, if any, really, for Beast Coast at this moment.
Yeah, there was also something you don't see every day there with the denial of the first tier 3 there by RX Mike. Usually you let those stand just because they give access to the shrines, but knowing it was going down right in the face of Resolution, it even nets him a tip. So, you know, a few more points in those battle levels, might as well deny a tier 3 in an official.
Why not? Resolution. He's level 20 now, by the way, so a 2.5 second minus cooldown on that blink, and they got a present. Juggernaut. He gets delivered to them with a lasso. IX Mike, he's also going to be run down, so he's out for 35. Buyback ready for Juggernaut. Of course, last thing you want to be doing, but almost might have to. It's a bit of a last stand chance here. There is backdoor protection out for a couple more seconds. Creep wave still coming. There's some positive news for Beast Coast. There's the buyback though on Juggernaut. Static Storm combo, they catch Resolution. They're bursting him down, they get the kill. There you go, that's what it takes. This BKB was on cooldown, they knew it. And they take full advantage, so show you that they can still kill the anti-mage. Moo, Aphotic Shield, he's got that phase shift. He's still surviving for now, and he blinks out, so he's good to go. Fear, also distracting. Let's look at Darkseer with the anti-mage illusion. Getting some value out of that right there. Can they catch up to Fear, though? Okay, they're going to glimpse him back, and off to the left-hand side, Eternal Envy. He's by himself, though. Uh-oh. He now needs to spin away, drops a healing ward. He goes back to his teammate, so they did kill Fear. Did Eternal Envy keep them nearby long enough? Bryo, he's going to be too fast. All right.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened here. You know, they committed the BKBs, and it was only for these little kills. So they correctly identified that the anti-mage, as well as the track, they're busy pushing the high ground with no BKBs. So you just throw down the static storm connection field wall combination. Meanwhile, Bryle, he does have his BKB, so he is gonna be okay.
Yeah, took a ton of damage there with the Omni Slash, but again, surviving, that's what matters. Batten also gonna take some damage. Bryle time activated, try to run out. Nope, kinetic field, it hits. You can tell that the entire team doesn't want to overcommit for this. Marchi is going to deny himself, Moo. He jumps in, drink well placed, has TP support, Glimpse. Will bring him back in. Has some one charges, not the most. Just fills out a Dagon, but he is dead. Resolution. Will he just go for the Mana Void here on the Sven perhaps? He pops counter spell. Ix Mike is going to die Dark Channel. That's a Mana Void target if I ever saw one. Oh, though I guess you don't need it, so auto attacks will finish the job. And that's also a streak kill on Darkseer there.
Yeah, Resolution, it feels like he just completed that BKB and he already has the Basher. Just the side of Beast Coast just overextending their aggression there. I mean, they do kill Moo, but because this puck is so evasive, the rest of the side of J.Storm, they turn up by the time he's dead. And he finds another one here in Resolution with that bash.
Yep, there's an example of how scary farmed he is starting to get now.
Dire's bottom shrine is under
Jumps
attack.
on a disruptor and right-clicks into death. A couple of seconds, so the racks, it's bound to fall. Juggernaut and Lena, the only two up. They're split pushing on the lanes, especially with now Leshrac showing up. So
Dire's middle
Racks
barracks
killed.
has fallen.
Yeah, and both of these guys are level 23
Dire's
as well. They're
middle
going
barracks
to
has
easily be the first 25s in this game, and highest level on the Dire side is 19 in Juggernaut.
Radiant's
So
top tower
that's
is
unfortunately
under
another
attack.
thing that Beast Coast is still trying to
Radiant
make up,
structures are
is the
fortified.
level ground, and of course those level 25, even level 20 talents do
Radiant's
enhance
top
the
tower
heroes quite
has
a bit.
fallen. Dire's
Yeah,
top
I
shrine
mean,
is under
especially
attack.
the 25 here on Bryle, just having that the diabolic strategic exposure is what we usually see. It's just going to add even more to the push here on J.Storm, and it's not like they lack it at all when you have an anti-mage, but having your mid-hero have it as well. And, or Ix Mike, he might be able to get away, but no, Moo throws down the coil, and I think that might be the end of him.
Yeah, it's worth committing though. I mean, they are going to eventually get it. Yeah, the BKB used by Anti-Mage, and he wants to make more of it. They also catch, that's a Darkseer. Darkseer couldn't combo or anything. They also get the last one, Eternal Enemy. It's popping Omni Slash just to try to survive the Static Storm, cutting them off, but as soon as Eternal Enemy comes down, as Lena gets picked up in the backlines, Eternal Enemy will fall. They lose X Mike on the tieback, and a complete wipeout favoring J.Storm, a triple kill for Bryle included. So it was one thing to go on the Sven like that, but Beast Coast hung around long enough, attempted to counter-initiate. Can't do that with your Darkseer getting picked off initially, and they just called GG. So that's going to officially do it. J.Storm will take game 2, and they're going to get that rematch now against Complexity with the minor spot on the line.
Yeah, it's, just coming back to that final fight, you know, I was curious about them committing so much on this Sven with you know, even using the BKB, but the side of Beast Coast, that they don't decide to just let their 5 position die. You know, sometimes you have to let your Sven go down, but the side of J.Storm, they just have all this mobility with the pack, with the puck, with the Batrider. They're able to get through to the back lines. You know, they use the Static Storm, but Anti-Mage, he had his BKB already on, so he wasn't affected at all. They bring the Juggernaut, but they have all their heroes and illusions there, so the Omnislash does absolutely nothing. And meanwhile, Brax is busy rampaging through your back lines, killing everyone else. So, you know, they didn't shut down Resolution once again, only killing him twice this entire game. And the side of Beast Coast, you know, they had some nice ganks. Like, they really shut down Bryle in the early game, but not shutting down this anti-mage once they had the level 6 on the Disruptor really came back to bite them in the end.
Yeah, it was concerning, and it certainly is. It was an issue in the later game. So Beast Coast just did not have the answers. They fall short, so their road ends here as far as the minor qualifiers are concerned. And as far as J.Storm is looking, now it all comes down to this. And again, this is really your season up until the TI qualifiers. Obviously, there's other events here and there, but you get the point. Focusing on DPC, you qualify for the minor, then things continue. You come up short here, and it's other things to focus on. Really, those TI qualifiers will be the biggest of them all. But Complexity and J.Storm are the two teams, and can't say I'm too surprised out of the 4 teams in this event. 2 that definitely I would have expected, so we're getting that. And yesterday, J.Storm won the first game. Complexity won the other two. They played in the Epicenter event, I believe you mentioned, too. The Qualifiers there a couple times, so it's been a lot of back-and-forth battle between these two teams. I'm expecting another great series to come up after this break here.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see these two teams have off against it again. J.Storm, they won't be happy with what happened yesterday, getting beaten by the Ursa twice in a row. So they might have a few more drafting tricks up their sleeve, maybe namely a ban. But yeah, I'm really excited to see it. Both J.Storm and Complexity, they seem to at least be in fire here in this minor qualifiers. And while it is sad to see Beast Coast 2, I do think J.Storm were the better team today.
All right, speaking of that break, we are going to go on it, but ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We have game one of our grand finals here for the North American qualifiers. I believe the plan is it's a rolling schedule, so we're going to get the lobby set up and look to go here in the near future. J.Storm versus Complexity, that minor spot on the line. That's what they're playing for. Big shout out to DX Racer as well, those awesome gaming chairs that they create for supporting and sponsoring this event. We're going to that break. Stay tuned. Game one of the next series will be coming up next. We'll be right back.